Someone who's also acting as a founder, inspired this scene from the With Love, Meghan, MEGYN.
Oh no, Meghan. Not the kale. Not the quinoa. Not the feminist souffle collapsing harder than your Spotify deal. Because when Jon Stewart climbs out of retirement just to flambe your cooking show live on national television, you already know something's burning. And spoiler, it ain't the tart. Welcome to the roast of the year, where Duchess DeLulu meets Comedy Central legend. And only one walks away with their dignity intact. Okay, let's rewind. Because before we get to Jon Stewart casually dragging Meghan's cooking show like it owes him money, you need to understand what this show actually is. And no, you didn't hallucinate it during your 8th day of a silent meditation retreat. This is real. Meghan Markle, ex-royal, ex-actress, and full-time lifestyle TED Talk, launched a Netflix cooking show, but don't get it twisted. This isn't your grandma's cooking show. This is a soulful journey through global womanhood, where the mise en place is feminist theory, and the seasoning is 90% Instagram captions. It's turmeric with trauma. It's empanadas with empowerment. It's gluten-free lasagna and grief. You can't make this up. She whispers to avocados. She gazes into boiling water like it's reflecting generational pain. There's a sequence where she literally folds samosas while quoting Maya Angelou. It's like Goop met a Hallmark movie and they dropped acid. But what Meghan didn't expect, Jon Stewart watched it, and then he cooked. Enter Jon Stewart, the satire samurai, the man who made Tucker Carlson wear a bow tie to therapy. He's filling in at The Daily Show, one night only. Netflix execs are asleep, Meghan's sage sticks are burning. And then he sees it. The trailer, Jon pauses, sips tea, literal tea, because irony is alive and well. And then he goes full Hiroshima on the souffle. It was like someone gave Gordon Ramsay a sociology degree. Jon starts with the opening monologue, torches the slow-mo avocado shots, absolutely bulldozes the monastic piano transitions. But the kill shot? The metaphors, boom. That's not shade. That's solar eclipse energy. He didn't stop there. He calls out the tone. 5 minutes in, I couldn't tell if I was supposed to cook a souffle or file for divorce. Every punchline landed, every pause, surgical. And Meghan? Well, let's just say, somewhere in Montecito, a kombucha bottle shattered.
I want to play for you the latest bit from her podcast, which is called Confessions of a Female Founder.
Because this wasn't just a roast. This was a comedic autopsy. On a show trying so hard to be meaningful, it forgot to be watchable. And here's the scary part. Jon didn't even need to exaggerate. He just described it. But the joke that really broke the internet? You didn't even hear it on air. Netflix cut it. Meghan lawyered up. Now here's where it goes from funny to nuclear, because while Jon Stewart's segment was packed with flame-grilled punchlines, there was one joke that never made it to air. Netflix cut it.
Milestones for my own business with As Ever. I mean, Netflix coming on as my business partner, huge. Just having a global powerhouse that believed in me.
Comedy Central went silent. And Meghan? She allegedly called her lawyer before the audience stopped clapping. So what did Jon say? According to 2 audience members from the live taping, Jon locked eyes with the camera, leaned in, and deadpanned. This show isn't about food. It's about Meghan trying to rebrand herself as Oprah with an air fryer. It was brutal. It was surgical. It was too good to stay in. But within hours, clips, whispers, leaks, that line, viral, like cheating on Scandoval, viral, fan edits start popping up. And here's the best part. Netflix tried to pretend it didn't happen. Their PR team, radio silence. Not a tweet, not a peep. Meanwhile, Meghan's team, allegedly scrambling like eggs on a cast iron griddle. Sources say they claimed the joke was character assassination, culturally damaging, and my personal favorite, defamatory toward air fryers. So to recap Meghan's show premieres, Jon Stewart roasts it. Netflix trends for all the wrong reasons. And somehow the real casualty is a countertop convection oven. But what happens when the internet gets involved?
Top of the show. Thank you, Meghan. Thank you so much. But yeah, no, with Meghan Markle, the only thing she found was a rich, famous husband. If that's what constitutes being a founder, then sure, Meghan Markle's a founder. She found a mansion in Montecito to live in.
What happens when viewers, foodies, stans, ex-Palace staff, and Gordon Ramsay all have something to say? So Jon Stewart dropped the roast. Netflix fumbled the cleanup. And Meghan Markle? Well, she got hit with the one force more brutal than Jon's punchlines. The internet, Twitter X, TikTok, Reddit, Even your aunt's Facebook group chat was on fire. One tweet went viral with 120K likes. This show is like being guilt-tripped by a yoga instructor while trying to eat spaghetti. Another came for the recipes, stayed for the spiritual gaslighting. Foodies, feminists, fan accounts, former palace staff, everyone had something to say. One anonymous ex-palace employee allegedly told Page Six, "We used to see this energy when she talked about banana bread and leading with light." It's real, it's unfortunate. But the real cultural moment, the memes, we're talking Meghan vs. Gordon Ramsay edits.
And I love how she's like, we sold out in 45 minutes. Meanwhile, not said is, what was the inventory like? Honestly,
Right, that's what I
for
was
all I know,
wondering
she
too.
had 20 jars of jam and 20 of her weird popcorn things.
Duets of Jon's segment dubbed over Meghan's kitchen clips. Entire TikTok accounts dedicated to recipes Meghan probably ruined. And the pièce de resistance? A fan-made parody trailer titled Trauma Tacos the Documentary, 1 Duchess, 1 Air Fryer, 0 Self-Awareness. This wasn't just feedback. It was a full-on internet avalanche. Even Netflix started catching strays. At Netflix, is this in the comedy section or the horror documentary aisle? And it gets worse. Remember the fake cookbook Jon held up? The Audacity cookbook? Someone actually made it self-published, sold out in 48 hours. This wasn't just backlash. This was collective catharsis. The internet didn't cancel Meghan. They critiqued her cooking show into oblivion. With memes, and honestly, that's the most 2024 thing imaginable. But while the internet was feasting, Meghan's team was panicking. PR calls, emergency Zooms, and an $18,000 office chair was thrown, allegedly. So the memes are popping off. The deleted joke is everywhere. Jon Stewart is getting standing ovations in Reddit threads. And Meghan? She hits meltdown mode. According to multiple insiders, the moment Jon's segment started trending, Archewell HQ flipped like a vegan pancake. Phones blowing up, assistants on edge. Zooms, emergency. Yes, emergency Zooms. Because nothing says calm confidence like 12 people crying in linen shirts on a video call titled Brand Salvage Protocol. Apparently, Meghan called Jon's segment deliberate character assassination, an attack on women who speak their truth, and, actual quote from a source, a comedy hit job designed to destabilize the female narrative. But here's the kicker. She allegedly demanded a direct call with Netflix. You heard that right. Not her producer, not her agent. Her on FaceTime in real time, looking dead into the eyes of an exec who just watched her become the internet's lunch special. And the exec did not answer. According to one source, Netflix politely declined the Zoom and ghosted her like a bad Tinder date. Even her own team was reportedly split. Half thought they should fight back. The other half said, let it pass, maybe it'll blow over.
Her first ever podcast interview, Meghan Markle has revealed she sends secret late-night emails to Archie and Lilibet. Isn't that adorable, Carlos? She wants them to read it when they grow up.
Spoiler, it didn't. And while all this was happening, Jon Stewart was out walking his dog, unbothered, unfazed, untouchable. Because the man just demolished a royal media empire from behind a desk in under 8 minutes with a fake cookbook and a tea mug. But the real damage? It wasn't just the roast. It was what happened after, when Netflix quietly started to pull back, projects shelved, calls unanswered. And the $100 brand? Suddenly on ice. Okay, so Jon Stewart roasted the souffle into dust. The internet turned Meghan's show into a meme casserole. And her PR team's doing downward dog in a crisis bunker. But the real twist? Netflix, the people who paid for all of this, they started backing away. Quietly, subtly, like a friend pretending not to see you cry in Whole Foods. Here's the tea. Behind closed doors, Netflix execs allegedly held urgent internal reviews about the Archewell content slate. And the mood? Not optimistic. One source said, "We gave Meghan a blank check, and she gave us a guided meditation over chickpeas."
Millions of people knew her as an actress.
Now she's officially become a podcaster. The first episode featured a good friend and special guest. CTV's Andrea Case listened to the debut episode and joins us now.
Let's look at the receipts. Heart of Invictus flopped. The Spotify deal terminated by mutual exhaustion. And this cooking show trending for all the wrong reasons. They were sold a lifestyle empire. They got Pinterest core trauma porn. So now, Netflix is reportedly reevaluating all future projects with Archewell. Yeah, we're good. Even worse, 2 of Meghan's upcoming shows quietly canceled. No press release, no announcement, just vanished. Like the budget. Even internally, staff started referring to Archewell as Flopflix Originals. Ouch. And remember Meghan's 2023 headline moment? This is just the beginning of my creative rebirth. Yeah, Netflix execs allegedly buried that quote. So let's review. Netflix gave her 100A, a global platform, a production team that probably has to go to therapy now. And in return, they got a podcast that tried to cure patriarchy through soothing background music, a documentary about nothing, and a cooking show that's now a comedy special, but not on purpose. And just when you thought Jon Stewart might feel bad about all this, he goes on record, no apology, no retraction. Just another mic drop that actually makes everything worse. So at this point, Meghan's show has been flambéed by Jon, torched by TikTok, and lightly sautéed by her own PR team. Netflix is ducking calls, air fryers are trending, and the internet's already prepping a Trauma Taco Season 2 parody.
I have my name attached to it, or I'm going to do it. I really get very hands-on.
And how supportive he's been.
But what about Jon Stewart? Surely after all that chaos, he'd cool down. Maybe walk it back? Issue the classic celeb apology. If my jokes hurt anyone, I am deeply sorry for your feelings. Nope. Jon Stewart did what only Jon Stewart can do. He came back cooler, sharper, more lethal, and somehow made the whole thing worse in the best way. When asked about the backlash, he said, "Look, comedy isn't cruelty. It's a mirror. If what you see in it bothers you, that's not a reflection of me." He didn't even flinch. Then he hit them with the line that redefined the entire narrative. Meghan's not upset about the joke. She's upset the joke landed. Oof. But he wasn't done. He added, "If you make a show that costs millions to produce, has a full creative team, brand consultants, stylists, sound designers, lighting techs, social impact advisors, a post-production wellness coach, and people still think it's cringe, that's not a roast. That's a public service announcement." And the wildest part? He wasn't even being vicious. No yelling, no viral sound bites, just Jon Stewart casually dismantling an entire media machine with nothing but sarcasm and a smile. Because unlike Meghan's healing herbs of resilience, Jon doesn't need a narrative. He's got credibility, and if Meghan thought Jon would play the media game, she forgot he built the playbook. But Jon's mic drop wasn't the end, because the real impact wasn't just on Meghan. It was on the entire genre of curated, over-branded celebrity content.
I get involved with, I don't want to just show up on a red carpet for a cause and wave my hand without knowing what I'm really doing there and why it's important for me to be there, and really putting my own personal thumbprint on it.
And the cultural wake-up call it triggered? Oh, it's just getting started. By now, it's bigger than Meghan. The souffle's collapsed, the memes are archived, Jon Stewart's somewhere doing yoga with his dog. But what's left behind? The wreckage of an overfunded, overpolished, overbranded media fantasy, burnt to the crisp by a man with a teacup and a punchline. Because this wasn't just about a cooking show, it was a cultural autopsy. Let's break it down. On one side, you've got Meghan Markle, Duchess turned brand, turned media microeconomy, a desk, a mic, and a truth bomb. And here's the truth. We're living through a content collapse, where authenticity is filtered through 7 consultants, where empowerment means branded turmeric, where vulnerability is storyboarded and then reshot. It's not just Meghan's show that got roasted. It's the entire system of commodified empowerment, the inspirational media industrial complex. Meghan's mistake wasn't making a bad show. It was assuming we wouldn't notice, that we wouldn't feel the disconnect, that we'd mistake a soft piano track and soft lighting for soul. But Jon reminded us, real always wins. Because you can buy clicks, you can buy sets, sound bites, and slow motion shots of sunflower fields, but you can't buy connection. And when that connection's fake, viewers know, they always know, Meghan wanted a redemption arc. She got a roast, and the guy who walked away with the win wasn't the Duchess, wasn't the production team, wasn't even Netflix. It was the audience. You, because you saw through it, you laughed, you shared, and maybe, just maybe, you asked a bigger question. Why do we let fake depth pass as substance? Why do we keep confusing branding for belief? This isn't empowerment. It's performance art.
Man loves me so much. And, you know, look what we've built. We've built a beautiful life.
And not the good kind. The kind with no audience left. So what do you think? Was Jon Stewart too harsh? Or was he just the first person to say what we were all thinking? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Smash like, hit subscribe. And remember, not all recipes need to be televised. Some should stay in your notes app, preferably under projects I'll regret later. This has been The woke Hollywood roast. Stay real, stay ruthless, stay spicy.